break. Glad you're still watching Science Breakfast with me, Alan Hubbard, and sign language interpreter is Gideon Minor. Now, we started off with matters of devolution, and Raila Odinga pleaded with the counties not to overburden Kenyans. Now, as new leader, Raila Odinga is asking county governments to ease the burden of the cost of living by resisting the urge to increase levies and other charges at the county level. Mr. Odinga was the keynote speaker on day 2 of the devolution conference that is ongoing at the Eldoret Sports Club. Watch.
And I just realized that I have been with you. Achieved in 10 years what the national government was never able to achieve in 50 years. You know the challenges facing devolution. The administrative step of Treasury writing a letter to CBK to release funds should not arise. CBK should implement KARA full stop.
County governments will continue to push for adequate financing, and we are becoming innovative in the way we mobilize resources for the county functions. I will mention that for the first time in 10 years, county governments got their full allocation for the year 2022-2023 from the national government before the end of the financial year.
County government may be tempted to do what the national government is doing, which is to increase charges for services they provide to generate more revenue. And I was listening to the talk about its own revenue. I see it differently. I believe this is the time for county government to act compassionately and responsibly. The problems our people face today require that we invest within our means in programs that create jobs and put money into the people's pockets. That this katiba that we have is a product of maandamano.
Excellency, we are also champions in farming. With the subsidized fertilizer that we got, we are expecting pamba harvest. And in our region, Your Excellency, when you told us to andamane kidogo tu, kwa hiyo maneno mengine tukaandamana tukaenda kwa shamba. This time tuko na mahindi ya kutosha, we will all share. So kila mtu ako na sufuria, kuja Uasin Gishu kuna mahindi ya kutosha, lakini utalipa kidogo.
And I also want to remind that if maandamano can help families whose children were cheated or money being taken to Finland, there's nothing wrong with maandamano.
And staying on the devolution, President Ruto vows to deal with corrupt government officials. President William Ruto has put corrupt government officials on notice, saying it will not be business as usual. Speaking in Kiambu County, the head of state said his administration will not allow plunder of public funds and called on corrupt government officials to ship up or ship out.
Vile waskofu aliwaambia wale walevi waokoke ama wahame. Hata mimi nawaambia wafisadi wabadilike ama wahame Kenya, because we will not allow them. Pale Kasarani nilipatiwa Biblia, nikapatiwa katiba, na pia nilipatiwa upanga. Hii upanga hii ni ya kufyeka hawa wafisadi wote na wakora wote. Hiyo I will not spare them. Mkilipa ushuru nyinyi mniulize, ikitumika vibaya I will answer. Si ndio? Mimi ndio ndajibu, kwa sababu mimi ndio nimeuliza. Ati mtu anasema anaenda kununua kitanda ati kutoka China. Kwani hii kitanda inahitaji kitu gani gumu? Kitanda kutengeneza ni nini? Si ni mbao na randa na musumeno na nyundo na musumari. Si kitanda iko tayari? Sasa niwaulize, kama mtu hataki kitanda imetengenezwa na vijana wa Kenya, ati mpaka aende anunue ile ya kutoka China ndio apate usingizi, akose usingizi, alale chini. Hii serikali ni ya mahasla. Hii hakuna handshake, hapa hakuna nusu mkate. Ile kazi iko hapa ni ya hawa wangwana, ama namna gani? Kwani mnataka sisi tuendelee kuongea na watu ambao wanataka kutuletea kisirani ya handshake? Nimemwambia hiyo wasahau kabisa.
Rais wetu, mimi nataka nikuhakikishie kama gavana wako hapa Kiambu ya kwamba hii kaunti vile umepanga mipango zako tutapanga sambamba na wewe na tuende pamoja, Your Excellency. Rais, nataka nikuhakikishie sisi wote kama viongozi wa Kiambu tutakuwa nyuma yako kuhakikisha ya kuwa tumetekeleza yale mambo yote tuliwaahidi hawa watu wa Kenya.
Kenyan shillings 500,000 cash bail. Zingishu Senator Jackson Mandago and two of his co-accused persons in the 1.1 billion shilling Finland and Canada overseas education scandal were yesterday charged with a conspiracy to steal money meant for student studies. Now the three pleaded not guilty at the Nakuru Law Courts and were released on a 500,000 cash bail each. A pre-trial session for the case is scheduled to commence on 2nd October 2023.
Ya tarehe 1 mwezi wa 3 mwaka wa 2021 na tarehe 31 mwezi wa 3.
Circles 2, 3 and 4 done were present today. I consider them for bond of 2 million Kenya shillings and one short of similar amount or cash bill of 500,000 Kenya shillings. 550,000 Kenya shillings. Pending plea and or the arrest of the first accused person. So meanwhile the warrant against the first accused person is still in force. So we agree on a date. Of course the prosecution always have a right, any party has a right to appeal within 14 days.
Judiciary has their own discretion. We are politicians and we believe in the rule of law. So whatever the court has decided, we are under obligation to exactly keep that. So, and personally, me, I'm comfortable with that decision. I absolutely have no problem.
From that now to Raila Odinga slams US Ambassador to Kenya, Meg Whitman. And as new leader, Raila Odinga has told of US Ambassador Meg Whitman over her remarks on the 2022 elections. Speaking at the ongoing devolution conference, Odinga warned US Ambassador against interfering in Kenyan internal affairs, saying Kenya is not a colony of the United States.
Tell the rogue ambassador, Kenya is not United States. Kenya is not a colony of the United States. Keep your mouth shut when you hear. Otherwise, you will call for your recall back to your country. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You want to tell a rogue ambassador, leave Kenyans alone. If Maandamano can lead to a dialogue between Ichung'wah and Kalonzo, everything is good with Maandamano.
And we can only hope that these unfortunate remarks were personal and were inspired by the envoy's base corporate instincts of pleasing the buyer to close a deal.
Felt hurt when the U.S. ambassador is dancing and praising democracy in Kenya when such rights are being criminalized and described as destruction of property and rioting and what all sorts of descriptions which just prove that the current regime is actually slowly taking this country into a dictatorship.
I think that there is a dangerous trend that is coming up where our foreign partners are more concerned about supply chain diversification, are more concerned about the continuity of business rather than the sanctity of life in those jurisdictions where they operate. We want our friends to think about lives as much as they think about supply chain, to think about rights as much as they think about the disruptions that have been brought about by the Ukraine and Russian war.
We are here to tell him that we stand with what was presented yesterday. We believe what she said was the truth. Those are the facts about the country. We have investors who have come in the last 12 months since President William Ruto took over as the president of this country. And she was telling us that going forward, there's even more opportunity for this nation.
It's actually quite unfortunate to hear a man at such level talk about an ambassador and tell an ambassador to shut up.
We understand the pain by Raila Odinga because what the ambassador stated works against the intention that Raila has had for this country. When the ambassador says that the country is open for business, says counties are open for business, Raila has worked so hard in the last 3 months to shut down the economy of this country. Unfortunately, he has not succeeded.
Well, from that back to President Ruto as he nominates Robinson Mulele as next DPP. President William Ruto has nominated Renson Mulele Igonga as the next director of the public prosecutions. The head of state has forwarded Igonga's name to Parliament for vetting. And those are the news that are making headlines in the country. We're going to take a break. When we come back with what is making headlines in the dailies. Keep it science.